Good day everyone, I'm Mom Roxanne and welcome back to my channel. In episode 1, I discussed communication processes, principles, and a little introduction to communication ethics. In this video, I will be explaining what makes communication effective and the ethics in communication. Why are there understandings and misunderstandings, and what do we mean by miscommunication? Most breakups and heartbreaks happen because of miscommunication. But how and why? Well, maybe there is something wrong with the way they communicate, or we communicate. That is why it is important to understand what makes up good communication. So, what really makes communication effective? In order for communication to be effective, there are 3 parts to be considered: listening, responding, and understanding. Listening entails accepting of words and ideas. This is also taking nonverbal cues such as facial expression, body language. On the other hand, when we say responding, it is evaluating the worth of the message. It requires a psychological processing, and this leads to understanding. And understanding means giving meaning to the words or expressions uttered. So we learned in episode 1 that communication takes place when thoughts, ideas, feelings are shared between the sender and the receiver. The communication process involves sender, receiver, message, channel, and feedback. Michael Osborn claims that communication must meet certain standards for effective communication to take place. So let's have the first one: clarity. Clarity makes speeches understandable. Fuzzy language is absolutely forbidden, such as jargons, cliché expressions, euphemisms, and doublespeak language. When we say jargons, these are special words or expressions that are used by a particular group of people or by a particular profession. And these words are difficult for others outside that profession to understand. An example of this are the legal terms or legal jargons. So anyone who is not in that field will have difficulty in understanding those words. Cliché expressions are phrases or opinions that are overused, losing its original thought. An eye for an eye or plenty of fish in the sea. Euphemism is the substitution of an agreeable or inoffensive expression for one that may offend or suggest something unpleasant. For example, rather than saying civilians killed in war, they may be described as collateral damage, or when we say someone is dead, we can just say kicked the bucket or passed away or given up the ghost or joined one's ancestors. How about doublespeak? Doublespeak is a language used to deceive, usually through concealment or misinterpretation of truth. This is also termed as gobbledygook. For example, we say, the report is just a bunch of gobbledygook, or doublespeak language. The next one is concreteness. Concreteness reduces misunderstandings. How? Messages must be supported by facts, such as research data, statistics, or figures. To achieve concreteness, abstract words must be avoided. So what do we mean by abstract words? Abstract words are used to describe notions, concepts, and things that can't be readily observed by your 5 senses. Therefore, it is better to write 240 civilians were killed rather than many civilians were killed. The next one is courtesy. Courtesy builds goodwill. So it involves being polite in terms of approach and manner of addressing an individual. Intelligence to write a technical report is one, manners is another. This means the way we deliver information really matters. The next one is correctness. Glaring mistakes or lanterns of mistakes in grammar obscures the meaning of the sentence. Also, the misuse of language can damage your credibility. So it is advised that the write-up be edited or checked before it is submitted. The next one is consideration. Messages must be geared towards the audience. So you have to bear in mind how important is your audience. The sender of the message must consider the recipient's profession, level of education, race, ethnicity, hobbies, interests, passions, advocacies, and age when drafting or delivering a message, whether spoken or written. Creativity in communication means having the ability to craft interesting messages in terms of sentence structure and word choice. So this is putting some brilliant idea into a reality by way of conveying the message in a clearer and more acceptable way. The next one is conciseness. Simplicity and directness help you to be concise. So avoid using lengthy expressions and words that may confuse the recipient. So do not go around the bush. Just strike your message directly, not forgetting courtesy in the process. Cultural sensitivity. Today, with increasing emphasis of empowering diverse cultures, lifestyles, and races, and the pursuit of gender equality, cultural sensitivity becomes an important standard for effective communication. Next one is captivating. You must strive to make messages interesting to command more attention and better responses. Remember, everyone can write the same message, but the style of doing so is unique among the writers. So it is important to draw the attention of your recipient if you want a good response. The next one that we are going to discuss is communication ethics. Although I have already mentioned or defined what communication ethics is in episode 1, let's just have a review of what Jonathan said regarding ethics. Ethics is the discussion of the judgments we make about the appropriateness, the right or wrong, our actions and policies, those actions, communicative, political, social, personal, or a mixture of areas. Well, let us take this into consideration. We have 3 factors to emphasize in the process of communication, right? We have audience, the receiver, the context, which is the message, and the purpose. So who are we talking to? What are we discussing? We also have to consider where and when the talking will take place. And what are we talking about, or what are we conversing? Being mindful of the ethics in communication plays a crucial part in the success of every transaction. So the following are the guidelines for ethical communication, which should shape communication practice. First one is, ethical communicators are respectful of their audiences. Ethical communicators consider the consequences of their communication. Ethical communicators respect truth. Ethical communicators use information properly. Ethical communicators do not falsify information. And ethical communicators respect the rights of others to information. And finally, the ethics of effective communication. Ethical communication is fundamental to responsible thinking, decision-making, and the development of relationships and communities within and across contexts, cultures, channels, and media. Moreover, ethical communication enhances human worth and dignity by fostering truthfulness, fairness, responsibility, personal integrity, and respect for self and others. So that is all for episode 2 in chapter 1, Effective Communication. See you again next week for episode 3. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.